Welcome to Meet the Candidate. Today we're joined by Alex Stovall, candidate for Town of Santan Valley Town Council.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. It's truly
Thanks
an
for
honor
being
and a
here.
privilege.
We appreciate you taking the time to do this. We want to bring the people of Santan Valley an opportunity to see and meet the candidates that are running for Town Council. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a veteran, I'm a husband, I'm a small business owner, and a resident in Santan Valley. Actually went to Skyline, so I've been here for a little bit. Very familiar with the area and some of the challenges that we have, so yeah.
And so why do you want to serve on Town Council?
I think we need a fresh face, fresh voice, young perspective. We're newly incorporated, as everybody knows, so I think it's important that we have people that actually have the perspective that reflects most of the community, if not all of the community. Lots of young families. I have a daughter, she's 4 months old, and that's a joy. It's exciting times, but the challenges and the concerns that I have are going to be very similar to the concerns of the people that live in the community.
And so with that in mind, what do you think the top 3 priorities are for the town?
There's a lot. I think the biggest thing is there's a lot of unknowns right now. We don't know what our revenue is going to be. We don't have taxes. We're not taxing our citizens currently. So just understanding what we're going to do with that. I would say the roads is a big thing. Community parks is going to be a big thing as well. Some of the challenges we have, I think maybe Queen Creek may have faced some of the same issues as the kids are kind of getting into trouble, and there's not a lot to do in the community currently. So just creating an environment for opportunities for the youth to really thrive. We've got a couple of organizations that I've spent some time working with that are really trying their best to present opportunities for the kids to be involved in sports, youth activities, and things like that in the community.
And all important topics. We're going to touch on some of those in just a minute, but let's start with economic development. And given the reliance on jobs outside of town right now, currently, how do you think you can help bring jobs into town and develop land with retail, office, light industrial, things like that?
Yeah, I think the biggest concern that some of the people in the community are going to have just regulations, how we mandate that, how we guide those corporations and those businesses into the community. I think the plus side of having innovation and having those companies come is you'll allow more opportunity to do things like the missing soccer games or missing activities with their kids. Having those jobs that are going to be in the community is going to completely change and revolutionize, I think, our town and how people interact and how people engage in the community. So I think that's going to be a big thing.
And do you think there's things that can be done to bring those jobs to town?
I think really working with the state legislators to build that rapport, open that dialogue, and build those relationships as to what regulations they're going to have, as to what companies can and can't do, where they can and can't build. So I think really building relationships with the state legislators, even though it's a different branch of government, understanding where they're at, really getting a pulse on them, and really communicating what it is the needs of the community are.
And you mentioned taxes a moment ago and not knowing what revenues are going to be. And that's a real challenge for starting up a community out of the ground, and then particularly one that's as large as Santan Valley. So what is your strategy to manage the municipal budget and ensure that essential services can be funded?
Right. So I think one of the most important things to really focus on is going to be the shared revenue tax. I think the last segue that we did when we did the evaluation of how many people we actually had in the town, it came in at like 90,000 or something like that. It's important to really put pressure on what the shared revenue tax is going to be, because that could really make or break a town. So working and coordinating to get that new survey to show that the accurate reflection of how many people actually are in the town will open some opportunities to bring some more cash flow into the town.
And that's to say that shared revenue is going to be based on what the actual population is.
Correct.
And what else do you think can be done to minimize the immediate tax burden on residents?
Really creating opportunities to innovate with businesses that are coming in, grocery stores that are already present and coming in. Really, I know that's a big big cash flow for a lot of towns, having those grocery stores, paying that tax. So trying to minimize as much tax on our citizens and our homeowners as possible should really be what the focus is.
And you mentioned traffic. So growth has really outpaced roads.
Like
and
most
so,
towns.
right? When it was in the county, you had to compete with everybody across the county to get those roads built. Now that it's incorporated, how do you propose building roads, and what should the focus be?
I think the town has already done a pretty good job with some of the town council members that are there. They did a road study with one of the other cities. I think just opening up that door and that conversation with the other towns and cities. I know Gansel is going to be a big thing for us, Meridian and Ironwood, really talking about the expressway that we have, finalizing and finishing that, figuring out who we need to communicate with and talk to about bringing those funding, those monies back into the town so we can develop the roads better. I think is going to should be one of the main focuses for the upcoming town council that comes in. And I think when we talk about how to budget for that, it goes back to the shared revenue tax. What dollars can we get allocated to help us fix and finish and build up our roads to make it more efficient?
And what corridor do you think is one that you really want to take a look at?
As far as
priorities, which transportation
locations?
corridor? Yeah.
Yeah, I would say Stone Creek Ridge Drive is a big one. It's a four-way intersection. I think it's more of a death trap just because the Walmart's there, the Home Depot's there, and you also have a school. And I feel like you're kind of waiting there for long periods of time. People dart out to traffic, and it causes accidents, causes congestion. Therefore, delays, and people can't get home on time, miss soccer games, things like that. So I think Stone Creek Ridge Drive is a big one. Gansel's going to be a big one. Meridian and Ironwood Ridge are going to be big roads that we really got to make sure we develop because they do connect to other towns, cities.
And so developing an identity for Santan Valley is going to be important, and that character. What do you think can be done either through zoning or what else? What else can be done to create and preserve an identity for Santan Valley?
Well, keeping our rodeo, I think, is the first part of that. We are kind of a Western town. We've always had that Western, close family knit oriented type flavor. I think ensuring that we don't oversaturate with big businesses like Costco and Home Depot and Lowe's, but we really make sure that we maintain and we care about our small businesses. The pork shop is kind of a staple in the community as well. So just ensuring that we're doing what we can to promote small businesses, because I'm a small business owner, ensuring that those small businesses aren't being choked out or restricted on how they do business. I know some of the small business owners have had some challenges with getting zoning and expansion permits done. So really working with the town and really working with the developers that do make those approvals to ensure that we don't have any challenges that are unnecessary to build and innovate in the town.
And one of the things in your opening statement was about parks. So very few parks in the area outside of HOAs. And so what's your vision for parks and recreation, and how do you think that can be accomplished?
So I know it's going to come down to what our revenue is that we come in. Again, there's a lot of unknowns right now. We don't know how much money is actually going to be coming in and how we can allocate that. I do know that we were able to get some funding allocated, I think $1 or $2 million to put a splash pad in. That's a huge step in the right direction, right? That'll create some activity for the kids. I think more so than the splash pad, an electric bike ramp or an electric bike course of some sort. So we have a lot of electric bikes, and I think when I spoke to somebody in the hospital, they're climbing in traumas. Kids are getting hit, they're running stop signs, and some of the arguments are, where they're pedestrians, and well, they're not pedestrians, they're pedalists at that point. So understanding the rules and the regulations and understanding that we've got to create an environment that's safe for everybody in the community, but also making sure that the kids have an environment where they can utilize whatever sports bikes or things like that. So an electric bike course, I think, would be a huge step in the right direction as well, in addition to the splash pad. So
that's interesting. And finally, how do you want to structure the town meetings and community engagement to ensure that you have the input of citizens as you build the town
Yeah, I think we already have a pretty good structure in place, so I won't really poke holes in that. They're pretty transparent, and it's easy to get access to the town council meetings. So just ensuring that we maintain that open dialogue, open communication with people that are interested and giving their voice and telling us what the issues and concerns are. But for the most part, I think the town council has done a really good job with being transparent and giving access to information. I will say we could probably do a better job at what's online on the internet, being able to know what jobs are available, what upcoming events are happening in the town, and just day-to-day updates. So I think we could do a little bit better of a job with that, but for the most part, I think they've been pretty efficient with that. So.
Well, good. We covered a lot of ground there. Is there anything that you want to add that we haven't covered yet?
If you guys like to hear more about me, Alex for Arizona is my website. That's my Instagram. That's my X, or also known as Twitter. I'm happy to communicate with people. I'm pretty involved in the community with some of the nonprofit organizations. You might see me running around in the neighborhood if you live in my area. But yeah, that's it. It's an honor. It's a privilege. Thank you so much for having me here, and looking forward to serving our town.
Well, we appreciate your time today, Alex, and good luck with the campaign.
Thank you.